What's up, everybody? I'm Scott,
And I'm Jason.
and you are listening to Liquid Carnage, my friend. We are 1 week closer to Thanksgiving. I will happily admit that I thought Thanksgiving was 2 weeks away, not 1 week from today's release date.
Yes, no, it's next Thursday. Yeah, so the next time people hear us, they'll be eating their turkey, partying, having a good time.
Oh man, do you like turkey for Thanksgiving, or are you more of a ham guy, or does it not matter to you?
It really doesn't matter. We've done prime rib before, and I've liked that. I have to admit, Thanksgiving is not my most favorite holiday, so I kind of just go with the flow.
You don't
Um,
like watch a documentary on pilgrims like you do Thomas Jefferson on the 4th?
no, yeah, definitely don't do that. I don't really. Like when they watch football and stuff, okay, they're playing football in the back end, but I'm not getting emotionally invested in that. And
Well,
so
especially when it's always the Lions or the Cowboys. No one really cares most of the time.
this year they're going to care. This year, two games for them, those two teams. So, I mean, both teams are pretty good. So it's going to
Yeah,
be pretty good.
I don't know who Dallas is playing that game, but I saw it's the Lions and Packers on the early game, and I was kind of like, eh, I guess.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good.
It's on. It's
You
background
know,
noise.
but yeah, so I'm not big into that. So if someone had turkey, great. If someone has ham, I'm good. If someone has roast, whatever they have, I'm good with all that. I'm good with all that.
Yeah, I think it kind of took everybody in our family by surprise this year that it was coming up so early because even my mom was asking, like, shit, it's coming up. What do you want to do? Like, what do we want to do? And ever since my grandpa passed 6 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, we've gotten away from traditional Thanksgivings because we have the same for Christmas.
Oh, I see.
So
Uh-huh.
my mom created whatever you want for Thanksgiving is what we're going to have. So if one of the girls wants chicken nuggets, the other one wants grapes, we'll have chicken nuggets and grapes. And then, if Janice wants pizza, we'll have that. So it's just kind of a smorgasbord like that.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. I mean, that
It is,
sounds.
and it's been fun. And this year I think we're going back to more of a traditional because I think my dad's kind of missing his traditional Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh,
So we're going to go back to a little bit classic, but I have to do the turkey this year because apparently it's my job to do those things now.
yeah,
I've inherited that task.
you have.
So,
You've got to do all the heavy lifting now, buddy. That's the way it
so,
goes.
so I am preparing a turkey, for that, in the next couple of days. Actually, I just took it out yesterday so it can thaw out and I can get it under the brine.
Oh, good. Oh, man. Okay. I'm gonna like to hear what that looks like, buddy.
Yeah, me too, pal. It's been a couple years since I've done a turkey, so it'll be interesting. It'll be
Nice.
very interesting.
Nice.
But it's kind of nice right now because the weather's changing. In fact the days are about perfect because we're about 65 degrees for the most part right now, and it's not overcast, but it's gray. Fall is officially in full swing. We're having more and more gray days. It's not cold, but it's not hot, and it's like an Arizona fall.
Right. Right.
And
Okay.
it's hard to explain unless you're from Arizona, you live in Arizona. Like it's not super cold, it's not super warm, it's just eh, and maybe that's just the feeling of fall everywhere, except where it's cold, it's just cold as shit when it's eh. So you tend to stay in a little bit more. You wake up, it doesn't get light out till 7:30. It gets dark out by 5:30 now. So it's almost like, to me, this is what I feel like Halloween should be, like more of like a spookier time of the year, kind of, because there's way less light and just dark and dreary. I So at work, I'm going somewhere with this. At work, I play just YouTube videos in the background while I'm working, just so I can listen to stories or whatever else. And my algorithm over the last few weeks has migrated to cryptid stories because of the Halloween and whatever else. So anyone that's not paying attention or doesn't know, cryptids are like Sasquatch, Dogmen, things like that, reptilians. Avril Lavigne.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We've discussed those good
We,
ones.
we we've
Yeah.
kind of discussed those, yeah. So I have those on in the background while I'm doing stuff on my computer, and I'm in my office, and I came across a video today that I thought was very interesting. It was the 5 cryptid stories from Arizona.
Okay.
So I was like, well, I always like to hear what's going on around here.
Okay.
Um, and I came across one a few months ago that talked about a a wraith, like a ring wraith from Lord of the Rings,
Okay.
but not that specific one, but right by Burrow Creek, and how it terrorized a man and his dog at 2 o'clock in the morning one night. And so that always gets me interesting because that's close to where I'm from. That's almost halfway between you and I.
Okay.
I've passed Burrow Creek, that bridge, many, many nights in the middle of the night. So it's one of those that make me go, huh, okay. But these stories we're talking about, like chupacabras, the Muggion monster, which is our version of Bigfoot on the other side of the state. But they had one here that they mentioned in Kingman, and it caught my ear because I'm always just half listening. But the minute they mentioned Kingman,
Yeah.
like it had my full attention.
Okay.
And it was one I'd never heard of before called like a Gila Monster Man. Half Gila Monster, half man. And it was spotted last October, they said right outside of Kingman, by a couple of hikers. And I thought that was interesting because I had never even heard of that legend. I didn't know it was a legend, so I started doing some research on it. And I can't find any kind of legend on there, but they said there was 4 or 5 people in this hiking group just outside Kingman, Arizona. And I'm thinking, where are there hikers that would be hiking around that time of year around here? And I'm thinking, there's that trail. What's that one where people do the biking and we would go hiking down there, down through there when you guys used to live up here? Um,
Um,
Monolith Gardens.
yes.
The best I could figure is like maybe it happened down there, but they said they saw this monster come out of a cave, 6 or 7 foot tall, like showed its teeth at them, and it looked exactly like a Gila monster, but on 2 legs, and it was standing, on 2 legs, and had arms and whatnot, and had all the colorings. Looked at them and then just kept walking back into the cave. And they said they turned and got the hell out of it. They reported it to the authorities and our local cryptid investigators. And I didn't know we had any cryptid investigators here, but it was a very interesting story to me because I think I'm someone that hears a lot that goes on in this town.
Yeah,
Just
you're in the know, man.
just by the nature of what I do and who I talk to, and especially it's very well documented that I have a high interest in these things, and I had never heard that, let alone seen any reports or knew we had a cryptid investigation society around here. But you and I were talking in the pre-show about how legends become truth in people's minds.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
And I think that's kind of where I'm going with this because you see so many stories about Bigfoot. You see so many stories about the Loch Ness Monster. And I really believe there's always some truth in reality in these legends because they have to come from somewhere.
Okay. Yeah. Well, so this is kind of a weird one because first of all, what you described, you would have to be at least pretty confident that the person saw what you're seeing to be able to make it even start the possibility of this being real. So,
Exactly.
when you see an animal that looks like a human, but it's got fake weird teeth and stuff, that's a pretty definite seared image on your mind.
Yeah.
But it seems like not only is it a seared image on your mind, but it'd also be, man, if that was really something that was out there, I would never forget that. Never forget that.
Exactly. Like you tend to not forget something that scares the shit out of you like that when you see it out in the wild,
Right. Yep.
and especially if you're with a group of people because they saw it too. Now, it, the memory almost manifests itself a little bit more vivid because everybody saw it in their own way, but everyone talked about it and just reinforced it.
Okay.
Um. So as I was thinking about this, I have a lot of, like I said, lot of different stories I listen to and channels I listen to. Are you familiar with skinwalkers?
No.
No.
No, I'm
Okay.
not.
Have you ever
I'm
heard the
not
legend of
familiar.
Skinwalker Ranch up in Utah?
Okay. No, never heard of it.
I think it's worthwhile for you to do some research on Skinwalker Ranch. It's a very interesting story about a ranch up in northern Utah, about a family that's been harassed by what they think are aliens or whatever else up there. But that's a little bit different from this. A Skinwalker is a legend of that Indian medicine men are either walk in the light or walk in the dark. And those that walk in the dark can take the form of what they call skinwalkers, which half man, half deer, half, in this case, Gila monster. Like they become that. Like they can transform almost like a werewolf through their chanting and their rituals.
Oh man, Scott. Yeah. See, I don't. Okay.
See,
Continue.
that's where you have to believe, because there's a certain amount of, you have to believe in different aspects of religion and spirituality for it to be true. And there's a leap of faith. And that's why I thought this was an interesting topic to talk to you about, because you can make that leap of faith in a lot of different ways, but I think you'd have a hard time with this one.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would totally. I already have a tough time with the Gila monster, anything like that. I just feel like that there's not enough people who have seen it, described it, know it, for me to believe it.
And that one I agree completely, because this is the first time I've ever heard about it.
Okay.
That one I agree with completely. But when you talk about skinwalkers, skinwalkers are notorious on the Navajo reservation in northern Arizona.
And
I mean,
and,
you
and
hear
I
about them
guess
a lot.
are they magical creatures?
They're not magical creatures; they're dark creatures. They're medicine men, and the Indians in the tribe will never talk about them because it's a cursed topic to them. So if they talk about them, they believe that they'll be targeted by the skinwalkers.
Okay, so that's more of a religious belief then.
It's legend. It's yeah, I guess you could say it's part of their tribal beliefs.
Right.
It's it's I guess it's a lot of different things, but at the end of the day, it's a giant leap of faith, because that's what the Native Americans have with a lot of their rituals. It's it's like what we have with Catholicism or Christianity and anything else. It's religion has a certain set of beliefs that you have to have a leap of faith in.
Okay. Well,
Otherwise,
okay, so that's a good point. So, by changing it to a tribal store, or, like a ritual or a conspiracy theory, if we call it a religion, maybe more people buy into it because it's a leap of faith at that point.
well, yeah, in a sense, yeah, because it's coming from, in this case, like the Navajo or the Wallapai tribe is the local tribe around here. It's coming from their belief system, and that's my hypothesis. If this thing really was true, it stands to fact that that's a leap of faith from, maybe it was a skinwalker from their beliefs.
Okay, yeah,
Um,
and let's be honest. I think one of the biggest things we fall into a trap of is that if I don't believe something, then it's not real. It's not true. And
yeah.
we shouldn't come to that conclusion. Just because I don't believe in it doesn't mean it's not real, doesn't mean that it's not part of the world that we live in, and that it's okay for other people to believe in those things, right?
Well, I think that's half the fun of like the Bigfoot shows that you see on Discovery now and the Travel Channel, where everyone's hunting for Bigfoot.
Right.
I think when the Patterson Gimlin video came out in like the late '60s, we didn't know anything about it, and we still know very little about it. But as time comes on and it goes on, and there's more sightings and there's more hypotheses of Bigfoot, you you start to learn a bit more, I guess, or I guess, what's the best way to say this? The legend of what it could be versus what it probably is grows.
Okay. And now maybe the danger is though is that if people one person sees it, they tell another person, that other person believes it, they tell people. It's kind of like, on social networking too. Like
Yeah,
you put
it's a
something out
telephone
there
game.
and then this person believes it, this person, next thing you know, everyone believes it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It becomes a telephone game, and that's what a lot of these beliefs are. Or I don't want to say beliefs. That a lot of these sightings are. I think they turn into the telephone game, and
And I
you think
guess,
you see something in the dark,
yeah.
and then your imagination takes over. And the imagination is one of the greatest tools we have as free thinking humans.
Yeah, it's kind of weird though, isn't it? Because, it doesn't hurt me. It does not hurt me one bit to not believe or to believe that there is a Gila monster man
Man,
walking
whatever it
around
is.
the
Yeah.
desert. until the Gila Monster Man hurts somebody, right? Or
Yeah.
causes damage to
Or
property or does something, right?
there's actual pictures, videos, whatever else on it. Yeah.
But even that,
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen pictures of Bigfoot.
Yeah. Have you
I,
though?
well, that's the thing. How do I know? How do I know? I mean,
Yeah.
I see a big tall thing walking like a Wookiee through the jungle or through the woods. I think that's real.
Yeah.
But I don't know. You're right. It could be fake. It could
Yeah. I
be a
mean,
fake
and
thing.
that's exactly it. There's, they call it research now, but there's so many more theories about Bigfoot now to where Bigfoot has a cloaking, almost like the Predator, where he goes invisible and they can teleport. It's the theories get more and more bizarre as time goes on. And I don't want
Well,
to say bizarre
is
because
it just
we
this?
don't know
Yeah.
what's bizarre versus what's reality.
Well, and how often now though do in order to fit something into a narrative that we want to believe in, we can come up with almost any excuse or any logic, no matter how far fetched the logic is, we can come into the logic that to fit into our belief system.
Yeah, and that's really where it comes down to. It's you can talk yourself in or out of anything. As far as your beliefs go, and in fact, anything in this world you can talk yourself in and out of. And we see that happen quite a bit, especially with the way news is disseminated today and the way
So
people absorb their news and information.
so then how do we base a fact then in this world? How do we base something to say this is factually true anymore?
I think I think you have to be able to see it and physically prove it's true because you can attest for it and have visual evidence. I guess is one way. Be able to prove it mathematically or scientifically.
There's a growing number of people that have seen a Bigfoot, right? How
Yes,
many people need to see a Bigfoot for it to be Bigfoot's real?
I think it's one of those. Like I think everybody's like, yeah, it's probably real. It's probably real. I mean, never seen one in person, but there's enough stories circulating, and I think that's the beauty and the curse of the internet that people can communicate about different things on different levels, and now that we're more connected as a civilization, more and more stories that we wouldn't have gotten 25 or 30 years ago are starting to pop out of experiences.
Like
Someone that might have
how many people do you think believe that the Earth is flat?
more than we should probably admit.
Okay, but as that number grows, more and more and more, is there a level of belief, a number of belief where it no longer is, oh, those guys are just far fetched? If everyone believes it, then does the reality become, does the conspiracy theory become reality the more people that, I mean, is there a threshold of people that have to believe something for it to be true or real?
Well, I think we've seen that turn into a split in realities. And it's that's the best way to put it. It's you can prove that the Earth is round all you want, but if that certain subsect of people believes that it's flat, you're not going to change their mind. And
And
they're, and they're
as that group becomes larger and larger and larger, is there a tipping of the scale where what was believed as untrue becomes truth to us? I
and
find it interesting when we talk about the truth like this is that if I have 15 people that go into the desert and see the Gila Monster Man,
mhm,
probably don't think too much of it. Maybe we
yeah,
do. Maybe 15 people said, "Oh my gosh, I swear I've seen that thing."
yeah.
Okay. 30 people go out. Yes. Okay. Still sounds pretty far fetched. 100 people go out. 1,000. What level do you say? Okay, look, there's 1,000 people in Kingman that swear that they have seen the Gila Monster Man.
Yeah.
There's a Gila Monster Man.
Well, it's like the Beast of Bray Road up in Wisconsin or Michigan. We're
Oh,
up there in the Midwest.
okay.
The Beast of Bray Road is a legend in this town because there's allegedly a dogman that lives in the forest along Bray Road that people see at night. Go ahead. I thought you were going to say something.
No, I'm listening.
Oh, okay. So the Beast of Bray. It's a famous. I want to say legend or what's the other way to call it?
Urban legend?
Urban legend. It's urban legend. It's it's something that they market up there a lot too. That it's this animal that stalks the outskirts of this town along this road. Thousands of people have seen it, but no one's ever captured it on or I captured it on video with a clear enough video or picture.
Well, let's be honest. There are enough people in this world that walking under a ladder is the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I have any physical or empirical evidence to say that's true. But there's a lot of people that walking under a ladder is the worst kind of luck you can have.
Yeah,
Breaking a
yeah.
mirror, um, you know, uh, oh gosh, going to the 13th floor, like the number
Step,
13 is evil. Like,
stepping on a crack.
yeah,
Yeah,
stepping on a crack. So those kind of things become, like you said, urban legend. I don't know, but they become real in our minds. Now, I don't know
yeah.
why they do. I don't know. I don't know why. But then again, let's be honest. The sports people that do crazy things because that's their good luck piece.
Yeah.
Like they don't shave, like Aaron Rodgers, right? He'd shave at the very beginning of the season and then never shave the entire season.
I think it goes back to that leap of faith. We all are looking for something to believe in, and if you hear enough stories and enough legends, you convince yourself that these things are real.
I think that the hard part that I think people run into is the animosity that they receive from other people who don't happen to believe what they're telling them. like
Yeah.
the like the anger that people give. Oh, if you believe that, you're a total moron, or oh my gosh, you're
Yeah.
so stupid for believing that. That's where I think it becomes hard for people to jump onto a leap of faith like you're talking about, because there are so many people that want to voice their opinion of, oh, if you believe that, you're just a moron, or if you
Well,
believe that you're an idiot.
I guess what I go back to is like if you go back to now I'm gonna stop using the Gila Man monster example and pivot to like a Sasquatch Dogman example, because there's thousands upon thousands of videos of people recounting their stories of interactions with Dogmen and Sasquatch. That you're right. If one person says it's true, it's one thing. But if now you have thousands of people recanting their stories from all over the world, all over the country, um, but nobody has clear evidence, does that make it any less true? When I say clear evidence, I mean like clear pictures, crystal clear pictures. Like you always have them through from a distance, but nothing that's concrete. Does that make those experiences any less true for the people that experienced it?
Yeah, I don't know. And I would say that, people who have miracles that they swear are miracles in their lives, that's exactly, I mean, they believe it whole heart and sinker, whether anyone else believes it or not, they believe it. And, that's their thing. I remember that line. Did you ever see the movie The Santa Claus?
A very long time ago, yeah.
Okay, so there's a scene in the movie where the little boy, Tim Allen's son, is saying that Santa Claus is real, Santa Claus is real, and the stepfather says, no, Santa Claus isn't real, and the boy asks, well, how come you don't think he's real? Because I've never seen him. Well, have you ever seen $1 million? Doesn't mean it's not real. And I think, oh, it's a good way of
Yeah.
looking at it. Just because we haven't seen it with our eyes doesn't necessarily mean it's not real. Like you said, some things, it doesn't matter whether anyone else believes me or not. I've seen a Sasquatch. I've seen it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
whether you believe it or not.
Yeah. I mean, and, and
And
that's,
so
that's really what it comes down to. It's
now,
you know, go ahead.
what happens though is a lot of these people go over the top crazy with these belief systems. And, you know, if they hurt themselves or hurt other people's based on a belief system, then, that's when I have a problem.
Yeah,
Believe all you want.
absolutely.
That's great. Don't hurt people because of your belief system.
Yeah. Yeah, I fully believe that too, and I think that's a different level of crackpot that comes with that. And I know we've gone kind of all over the board here on this show, but I think it gives you a lot to think about when you talk about what people believe in and what takes someone to that limit where they're convinced they see a Gila Monster Man or a Dog Man or a Skinwalker for that fact. And what does that do to somebody that ultimately doesn't know what they saw, how to explain it? They didn't believe in it until now, and now they have to believe it because they saw it.
Yeah. And our society, unfortunately, dwells and strives and forces conformity.
Yeah,
Anyone who
absolutely.
thinks outside of our societal norms is an outcast, is ostracized, is thought up as cuckoo. Sometimes they're hurt, sometimes they're killed. So, a lot of people say, I saw a Sasquatch or I saw the Gila Monster Man. For whatever reason, we as a society say, hey, that doesn't conduce to the norms of our society. We're going to be skeptical at the least and downright, um, you know, outcasting you at the worst, because of those beliefs. And that happens all the time. And we see that if you're different in this society and you don't conform to the norms, we as a society frown and are not very nice to those people who are outside of the norms.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this show is ending up being more of a topic of tolerance as you wrap it up. Is like we're all gonna see things and experience things different as we go through this life, and just because someone claims they had an experience doesn't mean they didn't. It's because you didn't see it doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Right.
It's okay to listen to them, and you can make your own judgment on that, but you don't have to belittle the person because that's what they're convinced they saw, or that's what they're convinced that's what they believe.
Yeah, as long as your beliefs do not alter my life any, I don't care. As soon as your beliefs start to alter my life, I have a problem because now you're asking me to take your leap of faith and you're mad at me because I don't take your leap of faith. Now you're causing me stress in my life. That it's okay to disagree, but don't get mad at me because I don't believe or I don't buy into your view of the world. Like the
Exactly.
flat earthers. I don't care if you want to believe you're in a flat earther, but don't get mad at me because I don't agree with what you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
Because the
absolutely.
reality is, I don't agree with what you're talking about, and my belief system is based somewhat on science. Your belief system is not usually based on science when you're talking that the world is flat. You know, so I'll live with my science. You live with whatever you believe in, but don't get mad at me if I don't want to conform to your opinion about the Earth is flat.
Well, that's the unfortunate world we live in today, where things that have been proven for hundreds of years are no longer proven because people just choose not to believe it because it directly affects the reality they want to create for themselves.
Well, and I think that when you're constantly, I mean, there's nothing wrong with questioning the rules that we live by, but making up your own rules as you go. Don't be upset if I don't want to follow those rules.
Oh,
It's
absolutely,
nothing
100%.
personal. I don't want to follow those rules.
Yeah,
But people get so angry if you don't believe that the Earth is flat. Oh my gosh, what kind of moron are you? I don't know. I guess I didn't think I was a moron.
yeah,
You
right.
know what I
Like
mean?
we're
I just go by what I believe in. You go by what you believe in, and we'll just leave it at that. We don't talk anymore about it.
here. I thought I was normal. Yeah, exactly. So as we wrap up today's kind of wild show, it's a nice, easy, fun topic for easing into the holiday season. What do you think about cryptids? Do you think that there's a Sasquatch, a Gila Monster Man, or even a Dog Man out there? Skinwalkers? We want to know. Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, all at Liquid Carnage. Um, if you want to help our EP up in Denver find a great place to go have Thanksgiving, he's looking for ideas. Hit him up on liquid_EP on Twitter and the Instagram.
Very good. That was awesome. Yeah, my friend in Denver said it's going to be pretty cold for Thanksgiving when we go up there, so I got to wear layers because I don't really have a big jacket anymore.
Oh yeah, man. Well, I can ship one down to you, but it's not going to get there in time by the time you leave.
Nah, it's okay. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out.
You're a smart guy. You will.
I'll try. I do my
I
best.
have, I have faith. That being said, Jason, take us home.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. We always appreciate you. That was Scott. I am Jason. And as always, if you never know quite